So if you think about the top 5 issues Americans are concerned about, homelessness would be among the major concerns. It's become an epidemic across the country. Communities are struggling with how to address the issue. Now, as of the new year, people who are unsheltered in the state of Missouri will be charged with a misdemeanor for sleeping on state-owned land. There is a growing list of states and cities making it illegal to sleep outside. Right now, if you're in Tennessee and you live in a tent, it's a felony. Portland, Oregon is banning tent living and shifting homeless into city-sanctioned mass encampment sites. And the city of Los Angeles is banning tent cities near schools and daycare centers. I'm joined right now by Kathy Connors, the executive director for Gateway 180, the largest residential emergency shelter in Missouri. Kathy, how much has the homeless population grown in your state?
Well, good morning, first of all, and thank you for having me. The population has definitely increased. Currently, in the St. Louis city alone, we have 2,500 households experiencing homelessness, and that is not even inclusive of the members of those households. That's a pretty significant number.
And it's a significant amount of money that the homeless actually face in your state now. A $750 fine or 15 days in jail for sleeping under highways or in public parks, state-owned land. Clearly, most of the homeless are not going to have cash to give for these citations. But if they're put in jail for 2 weeks and then just released, is that actually going to help reduce the amount of people who are sleeping outside?
No, that will actually, when you think about it, that actually stigmatizes individuals. It creates a label for individuals who are experiencing homelessness. You now have a new misdemeanor, a record, if you will, which is going to create difficulties for individuals to receive gainful employment, as well as to move forward with housing in regards to passing the background checks of many landlords and property management companies. So it really, it actually just extrapolates the problem, the issue that an individual is going to experience.
Well, and activists who oppose these new laws, they say criminalizing the homeless does not address the real problem. Community members are saying it's a safety issue. I can clearly understand, I think anybody watching at home can clearly see that you wouldn't want a tent city next to a daycare like you might see in Los Angeles. I mean, there have been tent cities very close to schools. But what exactly is it that should be done? What do you think?
Well, I think one of the large problems with the Missouri law is that it actually forbids or prohibits money to be used for the creation of new units of permanent supportive housing. When I mentioned that number of 2,500 households in the St. Louis area alone experiencing homelessness, 46% of those households have a head of household that is dealing with a mental health, chronic health, or substance abuse concern. These individuals would need the services of permanent supportive housing. And with the elimination or the prevention of developing further permanent supportive housing, you're actually eliminating the opportunity for a solution. Only housing is going to end homelessness. And to provide the type of housing that provides the appropriate supports is what will actually maintain housing stability for many. And not only maintain housing stability, but also assist individuals in providing the resources that will help them move forward, advance, and graduate, if you will, from the need of permanent supportive housing.
I do have to ask you one more question. We're running out of time, but in terms of the fact that the state attorney general saying he will sue cities in the state of Missouri who do not enforce this ban, I'm sure there are a lot of homeless who don't know that they're on state funded property, so they could be caught up in this, and law enforcement doesn't know how to enforce these particular citations. But do you think that this is the state pressuring cities to start really coming up with viable solutions for once?
I would love to think that, but it's hard to not think that it's that it's kind of an optics move. We're talking about moving people off of the streets and not really providing individualized solutions. So it is hard to think about that. It is mentioned that the Cicero Institute, I'm so sorry, mentions that Missouri now has the opportunity to enlist resources such as tiny homes, sanctioned tent encampments. The city of St. Louis has been utilizing these strategies for years now, for at least the past 3 to 4 years. And again, only housing will end homelessness. So it's hard to assess it and have that takeaway.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot. Besides housing, it's going to take some serious mental health and drug rehabilitation as well. Kathy Connors, thank you for your time.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.